Welcome to Behind the Slate Screening Series and our conversation with Local 706 members and Dyson's Education Manager for North America, Shallynn Johnston, about the Dyson Supersonic Pro Hairdryer. And now, please welcome IATSE Local 706 Makeup Artists and Hairstylist Guild's President, Julie Socash.
Hi, I'm Julie Socash, President of IATSE Local 706 Makeup Artists and Hairstylist Guild. We are so proud to present today's education panel, and we want to thank Dyson and their Pro Hair Care team for their generous ongoing support of the Guild. I also want to thank our 706 member panel. With that, I'll turn it over to today's moderator.
Welcome to our Local 706 education panel featuring the Dyson Supersonic Pro Hairdryer, presented by Dyson and the Behind the Slate Education Series. I'm Jani Kleinbard, and welcome. I am Haircraft President for IATSE Local 706 Makeup Artists and Hairstylists Guild and have been a member for many wonderful years. It's an honor to be here today with all of my talented friends and artists. We are here today to talk with Hollywood's most sought-after hairstylists about this groundbreaking hairdryer. First, let me introduce Shallynn Johnston, Education Manager for North America at Dyson. Shallynn began as an apprentice in a small salon in rural Canada in 2002. She quickly fell in love with the hair color and pursued this path where she joined Aveda in 2004. In 14 years with Aveda, she had many roles, including colorist, educator, and creative director. Since joining Dyson in 2018, Shallynn has shaped the hair care category, helping to launch a Dyson Corral straightener styler, the Dyson Supersonic flyaway attachment, the re-engineered Dyson Airwrap multi-styler, and the new Dyson Air Straight straightener. Her partnership with influencers and a focus on diversity in the hair care world has helped Dyson to become a leading hair care brand within the pro community. Welcome, Shallynn.
Hi, Jani. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here with all of these really talented stylists today.
Dyson has made my life easier and quieter. Now, let me introduce you to my coworkers, mentors, and friends. Please meet Jen Guerrero. She's talented, creative, and has a heart of gold. Jen loves to share her knowledge and her hair tricks. Jen has won 3 Primetime Emmys, 3 Guild Awards, and 14 nominations. The show she's most known for is King of Queens, Big Bang Theory, Dancing with the Stars, Beauty and the Beast Live, Grease Live, Little Mermaid Live, Nutcracker Live, and a celebration of the music from Coco. Jen is genuinely talented artist who can take styles to the next level. Welcome, Jen.
Hi there. So great to be here. I love Dyson. I can't wait to talk about it.
Our next Local 706 artist is Camille Friend, a highly accomplished hairstylist in the entertainment industry who has garnered prestigious accolades, including an Academy Award nomination for Best Makeup and Hairstyling and an Emmy Award nomination for Outstanding Hairstyling. She collaborates with renowned entertainers such as Elizabeth Banks, Samuel L. Jackson, Julianne Moore, and Don Cheadle, making her a sought-after stylist. Camille's remarkable talent, dedication, and body of work has solidified her status as one of the industry's most respected and celebrated hairstylists, leaving an indelible mark in the world of hairstyling in film and television. Her recent projects include The Little Mermaid, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Hunger Games, Mockingjay 1 and 2, and The Help. Welcome, Camille.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me, Dyson. Again, I'm like Jen. I'm a huge Dyson fan. Can't live without it. Don't want to live without it.
Next up, Cheryl Eckert, a creative, motivated, and talented artist. Her creativity goes beyond just styling hair. Cheryl is an Emmy Award-winning hair designer, as well as a MUA's Guild Award winner with a total of 10 nominations. She has an impressive portfolio of collaborations in the entertainment industry. Cheryl originally started in Chicago. Her career eventually led her to glamorous Hollywood, where she became a member of IATSE Local 706, the Makeup and Hair Guild. Throughout her career in film and television, she has lent her talents to well over 100 successful productions, such as Dancing with the Stars, Hunters, X Factor, Green Hornet, Pineapple Express, and Eagle Eye, just to name a few. Welcome, Cheryl.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you.
Next up, Barry Lee Moe. He's a 2-time Emmy Award-winning hairstylist based in Los Angeles with a total of 5 nominations. Barry celebrated wins for his work on Ryan Murphy's groundbreaking series Pose, as well as the hit series Hollywood. Some of his recent work includes Pam and Tommy, Welcome to Chippendales, Loot, and the upcoming Netflix film Atlas, where he worked as a personal stylist to Jennifer Lopez. Barry is a proud member of both Local 706 and Local 798. Welcome, Barry.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me today. So excited to be here. Dyson is my go-to dryer. I have many of them, and I'll never have enough.
Dyson has helped all artists in keeping their talent's hair healthier and shortening styling time. This helps keep talent and production happy and our profession at the top of our game. Before we get started, let's have a look at a video overview of the Supersonic Pro.
My clients expect the best, and the Dyson Supersonic Hairdryer Professional is practically an icon. It's fast, I mean really fast, and that's vital when you have back-to-back appointments. I love how light it is. They really thought about the design. With the motor here in the handle, it feels great in the hand. The airflow is so powerful, you can practically see it flinging water from the hair, leaving it beautifully shiny and smooth. This new filter is a big improvement on the previous design. You wouldn't believe the gunk that this filter keeps out of the machine. It's the little things that give you the edge, and Dyson is really listening to us.
So that video really showcased the length of the cable for Supersonic, how fast the motor is within it, our air technology, and how it's helping all of you work faster when you're on set. And there's a huge range of attachments with the Supersonic, which I think is one thing that really sets us apart for a hair tool. So there's 5. So if we want to just get into the first one, the very first one that we're actually going to look at is the gentle air attachment.
The key with type 1 hair is that we go slow to build up that volume, because type 1 hair tends to fall very flat at times. Those same people tend to have very sensitive scalps. So that's why we're using the gentle dryer, because I want to have the nozzle close to the head to really work that volume. To start, I'm going to apply a light volume mousse to the crown area. And now what I'm going to do, I want to blow dry it on either side. So what I'm doing is I'm pushing it one direction so that the roots are going to stay in this direction, and when I flip it back, it's going to have maximum height. I slowly work it this way. Once the roots are dry in this direction, I will then flip the hair to the other side and work those roots in the other direction. I'm on high heat and high power, but I know that because the gentle dryer is being used, I'm not going to cause too much heat and pressure to her scalp area. And now I can see that I'm starting to get much more lift at the root. We went low and slow, so even though her hair lacks volume, you can see she's already getting that natural cushion of volume on the top. Finally, she has these shorter fringe pieces, so I want to give them a nice soft bend that's going to come away from her face and accentuate her cheekbone. I start with the brush in the back, and I put it on high heat, high power, blow drying it forward and back. After I've done that a few times, I let it sit backwards so you can see I'm pulling the brush up with the root high, then I hit the cool shot to lock that into place. By working with it on hot and then locking it in with a cool shot at the end, I'm really setting this style in. And now we can see, because I worked the front low and slow, that she's got this beautiful volume with a nice swoop. Even though she has pin straight hair, we were able to really get that volume and that movement by working it low and slow. Today I'm working with type 3C hair. When you are building up curl and natural hair, it must be 100% dry. We have already cast this and diffused this perfectly with the Dyson diffuser. Something that's very important is when you're doing this, you actually want it to be on the lowest heat setting, so cool setting, and you want it to be on a higher power setting. If you use hot air, you're going to change the curl pattern and cause extra frizz. If you keep this on cool, we're just expanding, breaking up the curls, and giving the hair more body and volume. With a traditional hair dryer, people would normally just take off the nozzle and just use a bare nozzle blow dryer. But with the gentle air attachment, it allows us to have a much more controlled and gentle airflow to really help to expand the volume without disturbing the hair and making it too frizzy. So you can see I'm just starting to expose and open up these curls, not manipulating it too much, just shaking gently at the root. And what you can see that's starting to happen is I'm starting to build up the volume, break up the root so she has more volume, but yet I'm not getting any more frizz than was there before. I'm just expanding and growing the curls. Dyson engineers actually took inspiration from jet engines to design this attachment. Chevrons were added to help create controlled air mixing and reduce the sound power from the machine, which actually allows for better communication with your client while styling.
I'll tell you one thing I just kind of figured out about the gentle, because I first didn't get it. And I figured out for us professionally, like when you're drying your wig, if you just need to get in there and dry it and do a lifting, I just got in there with the comb and I just started using that gentle air, and it was like the perfect airflow. So you're not disturbing your wig. So that's just something I found out recently. I figured out. So
I love that tip.
Shallynn, would you like to introduce the next video?
Yes. So the next video is our styling concentrator, which is known and loved by almost all hairdressers, but this is going to tell you a little bit more about why ours is different.
If you see, my model has type 3 hair. This hair texture is beautiful, but it tends to be fragile. One thing I love about the Dyson Supersonic is there's a glass bead thermistor right in the tip. And this is measuring the heat propulsion at 40 times a second. This area between the nozzle and the brush will get to such extreme temperatures that have the ability to burn the hair. But with that glass bead thermistor, I know that I can create this tension between the Pro Concentrator nozzle and the brush, but I'm not sacrificing the integrity of the hair and potentially burning my client's hair. So you can see I add tension and I'm stretching out these type 3 curls to be very smooth. The tension is something that is absolutely vital in this process. So you see here, I start at the root and I roll at the root and I smooth out with tension throughout the ends. Once I get to the ends, I want to start to roll those ends so that I get the smoothness on the ends and roll it right back up. Hairline control is so vital, and with the air multiplier technology with the Dyson Supersonic, we already have that without even a nozzle in place. But obviously, we're going to add this Pro Concentrating nozzle to the end of it. My model has type 2 hair. We know with type 2 hair, there's often really like new baby hairs, regrowth. A lot of them are blonde, so there might be some breakage. So I've re-wet, and now I'm using my brush with the concentrating nozzle. And I'm using it on high power, high heat, and I'm blow drying it away from the face until it is dry. And I'm starting to blow dry it back away from the face slowly, making sure that the brush gets all those new growth, broken hairs, baby hairs, flyaways, all controlled away from the face. I continue to do this movement until the hair is dry. brushing it back up and away from the face. This will also create more volume on the sides and the temple of the style. So now at the end, I hold it in place and hit the cool shot that really locks those pieces back up and away from the face so that those hairlines are controlled. You see how those baby hairs are controlled and smoothly away from the face. So now we want to control the fringe area. And as we know, fringes can sometimes separate, they can have cowlicks, they can just not do what we want them to do. So we're gonna help these out. I'm gonna grab my Dyson paddle brush and I'm gonna blow dry it to the left, then to the right. And then for this, I'm using high power and high heat with the Pro nozzle so that I get that really precise airflow. So you see, I'm going left and then right again. And I continue to do the same movements until the hair is dry. Back and forth movements will also help to create a little bit of volume and lift so that the fringe is not sitting completely flat to your head. I always suggest blow drying anywhere on the head in multiple directions rather than just in one static direction. If we want to create an additional bevel, I suggest grabbing your small round brush, grabbing the entire fringe in one big section, and using the styling concentrator on a high heat, high power, we're creating a slight bevel at the end using the hottest temperature. Once we're almost finished, I'm going to hit the cool shot button with my finger so that it sets that little bevel into place. And there we go. Just a very subtle bevel to perfect that fringe.
Thank you so much. Does anybody have any questions or comments that they'd like to say about the concentrator?
I've got a statement, just like Camille. That's probably one of my favorite attachments because I can use this attachment to kind of mold synthetic wigs with the temperature setting because it is so pinpointed and the temperature is always just spot on. I can get close, I can get far away. I could really do a lot of mold work with plastic with this setting. It's really been helpful on all my projects. So yeah, I love it.
Thank you, Jen.
I like that, Jen. I didn't know about the synthetic. I didn't think about that. That's a good one. I like that one.
It's great. Yeah.
That's something that I do as well. But I use the diffuser, which we'll get to down the road. But I use the diffuser a lot with synthetic wigs to do the same thing, to shape and form them. But using the concentrator is great too, because you can really mold things and smooth out the synthetic textures that aren't as easily malleable as human hair is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I really like the cold shot. So when you have the heat and then you can use the cold shot to lock that curl in or that movement of the volume.
Those are great comments, everybody. That's great. Shallynn, do you want to go on to the next video?
So next is our diffuser, which Barry just mentioned. There's a lot of magic inside of this diffuser. So we'll see what the technology is within this.
I'm showing diffusing for the perfect wash and wear on type 3 hair. We want to first focus on the end to lock in that definition on the ends. This is so very important because as we begin to move these curls, we won't disrupt the definition because that definition is already locked into the ends of the hair. Then we'll go into the mid-strand. As we get the mid-strand dry, we'll gently start to separate and get that airflow down to the roots. When beginning to lock the definition into the hair, you want to start with low air and medium heat. The heat is what's going to allow you to dry it, and the low air keeps the curls from being disrupted. As we dry this hair more, we'll be able to pick up or bump up the airflow. You can always check for the comfort of your guest and lower the heat the closer you get to the scalp. Utilizing the diffuser really simulates natural hair being air dried. I'm allowing the definition to be locked in on the ends and the exterior of the curls. Therefore, when I go in and begin to dry the roots, I won't disturb any of this texture. This gives us the ability to move the hair around and really make sure that those ends are defined as well as the exterior. You'll begin to feel that past drying, and once you feel that texture and that definition being locked in, you can then gently separate at the roots and allow the airflow to go toward the roots. So here I'm going to share how the Dyson diffuser really supports our finishing techniques. I'm working with a Type 2 model, and we want to really control these lines of the style. And what the Dyson diffuser does, it allows us to lock in the hair in that position. It's so very important that your diffuser goes along with your design line because we want the airflow to be in continuity and not counter to your design line. So we want the airflow to work with us, not against us. The shape of the diffuser allows you to gain much more control of those hair strands and keeping it comfortable for your guest. Starting with low heat and low air is a great place to keep that guest comfortable, and the closer you get, you can also utilize the cool shot.
Okay, so we all saw that great video with the diffuser. Does anybody have any questions or any experience with it that they'd like to share?
Like I was saying earlier, I use this one. This is something I use actually more frequently than you would think. I use it on men's hair for shaping and just controlling texture. But I use it a lot on period shows when I'm doing big roller sets and I'm combing out these sort of long, beautiful halos of curls because it really works well to shape the underneath of that silhouette and really smooth it so you get this nice round shape. It's great with textured hair as well for shaping and controlling that. But it's something that I use so frequently, even more so than the concentrator at times.
I totally agree. Like, I love it, especially for texture, anything from, a 3A, A, B, or C, or going into like a 4A, B, or C, and going into like 2-strand twist or single twist where you need to dry something. Like, I really found, especially when we don't have the time, if somebody put somebody in the dryer, I'm 2-fisted. I have both my Dysons and I'm going at it all over the head and it works. And that, and the curls come out smooth and they don't come out frizzy. So I can definitely say that we use that a lot on set.
And that just goes to show the versatility of Dyson. Like, that's the reason why I always have used this dryer, because in a moment's notice, I can switch from one actor to the next without having to get out all these extra tools because I'm just swapping attachments. And it really does give me that versatility that I look for because I don't like a lot of stuff out on my station. I like to keep things clean. And, when the actors come in, everything looks nice. And the Dyson always looks amazing there. And I can switch between tools very quickly.
Camille, I love what you said about 2 hands. That also goes to like our engineering and it being, ergonomic for all of us, like working on people all the time. It's easy to hold 2, even I've seen pictures of people at Fashion Week with 3 in their hands and it's not really cumbersome. You can still kind of do it. And then again, with the diffuser, like it's not really what's on the outside, it's what's on the inside that matters with this attachment.
I actually love using the diffuser when I'm styling men out, and when I'm using the gel and I know that it's still kind of a wet look, but I don't want to disrupt the style, I will diffuse them just to kind of, break that wetness and then send them off. And hopefully by the time they get to set, they're good, but I love it for the men.
I agree. And I think one thing that's important too is like, I remember with the old school dryers and all of you guys, you've all been around a little while long too, like me, like how it used to, when you used to blow dry, it used to hurt your hand after a while. I've never had like that feeling with the Dyson, like no matter how you hold it or what angle you're holding it, if you're holding your girl upside down, you never have a problem with your wrist and your hands hurting. And that's something like we always guard because this is our livelihood. So I love that you don't feel any of those things when you use a Dyson blow dryer either.
A lot of times other diffusers are so kind of flimsy too. You kind of feel like you overcompensate. So yes, it's usually really hard on our wrists. Yeah, but this is so solid. Any angle you put it on, it's just going to stay there. And yeah.
I do have a question with the nozzle. Do you think in the future they would make that nozzle a little longer because I like to hold the nozzle sometimes to have more control for myself. Mm-hmm. I'm a nozzle holder.
You mean like the body, like here, like you like to do this?
Yes. So then I usually grab that nozzle to round brush. So because it's on the shorter end, I was just curious if you guys would think about maybe making that longer or extending it.
You never know. We keep our secret at Dyson. So I don't know, but you never know what's in the future. That's definitely something I've heard from the stylists that I encounter and I work with a lot is like, and we've probably all been at this point at one point in our career, whether we're still here or we've kind of evolved. So not to say never, but I can't say yes or no right now.
Okay.
Okay, Shallynn, you want to go ahead and show that last video?
We got two more attachment videos. So
sorry. Okay.
That's okay. We're going to do the wide tooth comb attachment, which is one of my favorites and amazing. So let's learn about that and then chat.
So I'm going to demonstrate how to do a pre-stretch on type 4 hair for elongation prior to a silk press. We want to start at the ends, then the mid shaft into the roots. Your heat and your airflow settings, you want to start with low heat and low air depending on the texture type and the density in which you're working. Typically, if we were to work in the traditional way in which we would talk, we would start from the roots and we could run into tangles in this midsection. So to prevent that, we want to begin with the ends, drying the ends of the hair. As you can see, because we're starting at the ends of the hair, we're not running into a band of snags or tangles. Now we're able to go from root to tip without discomfort, snagging, or pulling that typically occurs on highly textured hair when working in the traditional fashion. What we're going to do now is control volumization and elongation with the wide tooth comb attachment. We want to begin by gently separating our defined curls and placing that comb attachment at the roots of the hair. We want to stretch out about an inch or two, or where the first point of resistance is. The flexible torsion bar is so amazing because it allows you to really stretch out the hair, going with the shape of the head. This is going to give you all of the agility that you need to really get in there and make sure that you've elongated all of the roots of your style. What this is going to do is really stretch out those roots and create volume from underneath. In the past, we had to oftentimes disrupt the curls to create volume, but we're going to be able to create that lengthening and volumization at the root by gently stretching out the roots of the hair with the comb attachment. So we really want to focus on the roots of the hair without disrupting the ends. And as you can see, we're getting that controlled volumizing and lengthening compared to the other side of the hair.
Oh, that was great. I love seeing that. Does anybody have any comments or any thoughts about this amazing attachment that is so much fun to use?
I love this attachment because the elongation of the strands really works on that low setting, and it's so controlled, and it doesn't really disturb the ends of the hair if you really go in and you watch the video and do it that way. Really, just kind of scratching the surface of the scalp just a little bit, and just really stretching it out on that low setting. And it's so good. I love it so much for all my ethnic hair.
I agree, Jen. I mean, it's the best, like when you're doing a twist out and, girls just want volume at the scalp. So you just can really go in there and lift. I was so happy when the comb came out. Like my sister has a Dyson for my niece's hair. My niece has hair. So that comb attachment, it just helps you, keeps your arms strong, but doesn't kill you. So it's one of those things that it just works so well for so many different things. And especially, like you said, so many people have texture. They want their curls. So just to give you lift in different areas, it's a beautiful tool to use, and you can use it on all the different settings. So that's nice.
And it's amazing multitasking tool because you're able to detangle and kind of work through the hair as you're drying. So you're saving time automatically without having to add that extra step, which we don't have time to add that extra step in the trailers, especially more and more, like less time was given to us. So that's something that really is always useful when you can use something to do two things at once. Okay, Shallynn, I hear you have one more video. Would you like to go ahead and play that?
Yes, ma'am. Last attachment video, this crazy looking one, our flyaway attachment.
Flyaway attachment is considered more of a finishing attachment, so this is a tool you're going to use after you've styled somebody's hair to refine those flyaways and deliver a smoother flyaway-free look. So with the flyaway attachment, you can really localize it to the areas you want to treat. You can use it from scalp to the mids, or for longer hair, you can come from the mid-length all the way through to the ends and treat just those sections. So I'm going to turn the tool on. I'm going to use it on a high speed setting and a low or no heat setting to not compromise hair health. And then place it along the scalp area and then draw it down the length of the hair. You don't need to use a lot of pressure because the Coanda effect will lift the longer hairs to the surface while pushing the flyaways out of sight, and then you won't decrease volume in the hair. A lot of professionals don't even know real techniques to get rid of flyaways, and often we need to use these techniques when we're working on commercial shoots or behind the camera. Some people even use straighteners, which add unnecessary exposure to extreme heat, which could lead to even more flyaways in the long run. When styling for an all-day production, it's a quick way to continually refresh the look and keep things looking polished without exposing the hair to heat over and over again.
I'm going to be using the Dyson Flyaway attachment to blend her type 4 hair to hair extensions. You take the flyaway attachment, hover just above those hair strands, go with the flow, allowing the low, cool air to push those shorter hairs underneath the longer hairs, creating a gentle, heat-free blend. This is a game changer for hairstylists because typically in the past we would have to utilize flat irons or additional heat to create this blending effect. But with the cool shot and the flyaway attachment, we're able to push these hairs underneath the longer extension hair, creating a blend without excessive heat or further discomfort to the client.
I mean, this is a favorite from professionals to consumers. I mean, I have so many people in my trailers that are just producers and whatnot that are like, do you have that extra attachment, the new one that just came out? And I'm like, yeah. What do you want it for? Can you smooth out my hair? I'm like, I'm working, but it's nice to see the interest there from professionals and consumers, because that means that, you know, everybody's happy and it's not directed just towards one particular group.
I really like to use it on like some of the longer wigs too. When you have longer wigs and those ends are kind of like, you know, it really helps like really just smooth out that hair and get a beautiful, beautiful finish. And then too, I feel like you're not having to go back in and use so much heat on the hair because you are taking away all those flyaway. It's a beautiful attachment and nobody else has it that I've ever seen. So I think it's really fabulous.
I always feel like a magician whenever I pull this one out. Like if I'm at a hair show or I'm in a store or train and I turn it on and I do it, usually I'll flip it around and do it the wrong way to show everybody like the lift. So if you're doing like a mohawk or anything that needs a lot of lift, that's another way that you can use it. But it's always fun when people see it for the first time because you're like, look what I can do. And you're not doing anything. It's this attachment that's doing it all for you.
That is just so clever and welcome addition to our tool belt. Okay, so we do have one more video that talks about how to take care of your Dyson. Shallynn, you want to go ahead and show that?
Yes, so we're going to watch the filter cleaning video. This is the life force. If it can't breathe, it's not going to work. So we'll watch how we clean it, and then just tell me any of the experiences that you've had with your Supersonic and cleaning your filter, or how you find it best to do yourself.
Keeping your Dyson Supersonic Professional Edition clean is key to ensuring it runs at peak performance. The re-engineered heavy-duty filter now lasts longer before requiring a clean, but we still recommend cleaning regularly. First, make sure to turn off and unplug your machine and allow it to cool down before removing the filter unit. Hold the handle of your machine and pull the filter unit downwards and onto the cord. Gently pull open the filter unit and slide it off the cable. Wipe the filter mesh on your machine with a dry, lint-free cloth to remove any debris. Leave the filter unit to soak in warm, soapy water for at least 30 minutes. We recommend a clarifying shampoo or dish soap. Remove the inner filter from the filter cage. Using your fingertips, rub gently to thoroughly clean each part. Rinse both parts of the filter to remove any debris. Check that all debris and moisture have been removed from each part of the filter before reassembling. Gently pull open the filter unit and slide it onto the cable. Slide the filter unit towards the handle and twist until it snaps into place. Be sure not to use your machine without the filter unit attached, as this could cause irreparable damage. Now your machine should function as normal.
Does anybody have any comments or questions about the filter and how wonderful that is to have and be able to clean it?
I think it's amazing that it's self-sufficient. You can just clean it and put it back, dry it, clean it. There's no waste. You're not throwing, you're not having to buy a filter and then having to throw that away. So I love the fact that it's so easy to use and you're not having to throw anything away.
This is something that, can you guys send me a reminder to do this once every month?
Our My Dyson app should have a reminder.
Oh, really? That's amazing. That's actually good to know.
Yeah. Because I think we forget, right? If we think about a traditional dryer that we've used in the past, all of the intake is on the backside and then it's not easy to clean. So we're tossing dryers when they stop working or it starts to smell like burning hair. And we're like, oh, that one's got to go. Time to get a new one. But now the way that this is engineered, we don't have to worry about it. So, and there's always two in the box as well. So you can clean one and then switch the other one out, which also kind of back to Cheryl's point, but it makes it really easy to do. It's not so arduous and hard and kind of time consuming, if you will.
Each of you has had a chance to use your Dyson Supersonic Pro prior to today. Any thoughts that you'd like to share?
I actually have a thought. Because I frequently travel from show to show, my concern is how can I carry this with this dryer with all the attachments and keep it, an all-in-one spot where it's, maybe like some sort of carrying case that's a little organized instead of just throwing it in my bag and off I go so that I can protect it. But I don't want to, because there's so much moving around, I feel like it needs to have its own bag and its own to organize it. Do you guys have anything like that?
Not specifically. We do have some accessories that are like a heat resistant travel pouch that fits the Supersonic and the 5 attachments to it. It's kind of like velvety, so it's not super hard. That is something that the harder cases that we have really fit the machine. And I always just keep the gentle air attachment on it because it's so small. It's not taking up a lot of space. So it's not something that we have yet, but who's to say we're not going to make one?
Okay.
I mean, it'd be amazing to have like a Dyson Pro backpack or something where you could have 2 dryers, all the attachments and everything just to carry with you to set. That'd be awesome.
I love that idea. Great. And the engineers recently asked me, what should we make for pros? They're like, if we can make anything, what would be the next thing? I said irons, but maybe I'm going to tell them backpacks to carry everything.
I agree. Something to protect it and carry it all in one, almost like a backpack set bag. So when you're going, you could just take it. And maybe even something that's water resistant. Lately, I've been in the water world. So a bag that too also that, where you could protect it where it be water resistant when you take your Dyson, when you have it on set, that would be great too.
Well, I have to say that my biggest concern when I have this is the protection with traveling from set to protect your investment. But also I'm thinking we need to have somehow to have a little lock on that bag that you're going to make us, because it is a hot item and people do eyeball it, if you know what I mean.
So I have a question about future of some products, because I love Dyson so much. And with all the cordless things that are coming out now, like the flat iron, everything, it's so great to have that freedom from the cord. And since Dyson's revolutionary, are we going to see a cordless hairdryer one day that we can carry around with us to set, to smooth those flyaways in the moment and all of those things that are great in the trailer? Sometimes I just want to grab my Dyson on set to do something quickly because the heat has more impact than what I can do with combs or hairspray. And it would be nice just to have something that's air-based and not so much like a flat iron or something on set that has a little bit more damaging.
Yeah, you're not the first one to ask this. So I guess power is the biggest challenge, is how can we, because I think, not to get off topic, but with our straightener, our corral, one of the pieces of feedback that we get is sometimes it's the weight because it is battery. So trying to figure out how we can kind of get the power that we need to deliver the airflow that is representative of Dyson in a cord-free hairdryer. We haven't gotten there yet, but I'm sure everybody in the UK that works in our engineering facilities are probably tinkering away. They're like Keebler elves, but not. They're like tinkering away, trying to like figure out how to be able to do this. So that way it is still usable for longer periods of time and for, like, again, the comfort of the stylist or the consumer using it.
Awesome.
I do love the long cord though. I mean, I love when I'm in that trailer and I need that cord. I do love that.
Yeah, we all love a long cord, don't we?
We love a long cord. I like to work at 2 or 3 stations at a time, so I can just be like, a long cord. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I love the fact that I can just trust this product. I just trust it. You know, I don't have any. I just know that if I go and grab my dryer, it's rock solid. It's going to take me where I need to go creatively. Before you just grab, and this I have no issues with. I can just do all my detail work with that controller. Love that so much because I can really pinpoint and get in there and do all the detail work. And Dyson is so great for detail work.
Something I love about it too is that when actors walk in the trailer, there's a familiarity with the Dyson. They see it on your station. They feel comfortable. They know it. And the amount of sales I've done alone to actors saying, here's the link, go buy it, because they love it. Like, they know how to manage it themselves. This goes to the air styler, to the flat iron, everything. It's one of those things, like my mom has the air styler now because it works really well for her at home. Mm-hmm. And I love being able to recommend a product that I actually can say, this works, I use it, you use it. And the actors feel comfortable when they come into your station because they know and love it as well.
I love that you shared that because it really kind of reiterates what we're trying to do with the tool, is like that peace of mind and like healthier, shinier hair, whether it's stylists doing it or somebody at home doing it too.
The other thing that I really like is the ease of changing each tool, each head of the dryer, that it just goes on and off, on and off, on and off. You're not twisting, and it's great. I love that.
Very convenient.
Very convenient. I love it too with a lot of girls who are naturalistas or who have textured hair. They're always worried about like you putting a lot of heat on their hair. And, I could actually show them, this is how much heat I'm putting on your hair. This is the temperature. We have control over this. And they're like, oh, so like after you use it on them for a while, they're like, where can I get one of those? So, it is great that no matter we're pros, but you're still giving it to consumers and they can feel comfortable and they can use it at home. And then too, you don't want them abusing their hair at home because when they come back to you, you don't want that. So you want something that you're using the same thing. So you're getting great results.
Shallynn, do you have any final comments or hints for us that you could share?
We went over the attachments, filter cleaning. I love the tips and tricks that you all provided, as well as the ones that were included in those videos. So I feel good. I'm again, so happy that you guys could all be here to talk about Dyson and have such a love for it too, because we love your work. So we love that you love us.
Thank you, Shallynn, so much. That's all the time we have. Thank you all for being here today, and congratulations on all your amazing work. A special shout out to Shallynn Johnston and the team at Dyson for your support of Local 706 and Behind the Slate Education Series for making this possible. I'm Jani Kleinbard, and thanks for watching.